I used to believe that people determined their own lives. We were in control, commanding our futures, choosing our spouses, picking professions, responsible for the decisions that shaped the course of our lives. And yet there's one force more powerful than free will. Our unconscious.
That's right, Naomi Watts. Unconscious is overpowering, yet mysterious. Although that was a clip from the one-season Netflix drama series Gypsy, starring Naomi Watts and Billy Crudup, How Is He and Everything, I will not be discussing one of my favorite canceled Netflix shows, although there's recently been a rumor about a possible season 2. Instead, I'll be talking about Naomi Watts' other sapphic piece of media, Mulholland Drive. This is your official spoiler wall for Mulholland Drive. Continue watching at your own discretion. Now, Mulholland Drive is one mind-bending movie. A lot of people still aren't sure what it all means or what really happens in the film, despite it being released almost 20 years ago. But general consensus is that it has something to do with dreams. Today, I'll be talking about how Mulholland Drive incorporates various psychological theories about why we dream into its story. By identifying the manifest and latent content in Diane's dream, we can begin to understand the way in which many dream theories blend together in Mulholland Drive to create a somewhat accurate representation of what dreams actually look and feel like. Before I dive in, here's a quick refresher on what happens in Mulholland Drive, based on my interpretation. The first part of the movie is Diane Selwyn's dream. She dreams that she's Betty Elms, an aspiring actress who arrives in LA to try to begin her career. When she enters her aunt's apartment, she stumbles upon Rita, the sole survivor of a contract-killing turned car accident on Mulholland Drive. Rita has amnesia and can't remember anything, not even her name, so Betty takes her under her wing. Betty auditions for a part, kills it, and then is brought to another audition where she catches the eye of the director. The director, we know, has been ordered to cast Camilla Rhodes, an unknown actress. Betty and Rita continue to try to piece together Rita's identity, but they end up in bed together. Later that night, Rita starts repeating the word silencio,
Silencio,
which leads Rita and Betty on a late-night outing to the club Silencio. After watching, or experiencing, a somewhat confusing musical performance, they find a small blue box, which they then discover is opened by a blue key that Rita had in her purse. This transports us to the second part of the movie, Diane Selwyn's real life. Diane wakes depressed to find a blue key laying on her coffee table, confirming Camilla's, or Rita's, death. Through flashbacks, we find out that Diane had been cast as a supporting character in the director's movie, and that Camilla had been cast as the lead. Camilla was in a relationship with the director, and Diane supposedly got so jealous of both Camilla's professional and personal success that she ordered a hit on her. Now, onto dreams. Why do we dream? Well, some theories state that dreams don't actually have any meaning, that they're just our cerebral cortex trying to make sense of random neural impulses fired by our brainstem. Both the physiological function theory and the activation synthesis theory argue that there's no hidden meaning behind dreams. Diane's dreams in Mulholland Drive are loaded with subtext and subliminal messages, so I'll be discussing theories that agree that the content of dreams is significant. Freud's wish fulfillment theory states that dreams represent our unconscious wishes, urges, and feelings. He thought that dreams can be divided into two parts: manifest content, which is what actually happens in the dream, and latent content, the meaning hidden within the dream. We've already discussed the manifest content of Diane's dream, so let's discuss what it all means, the latent content. Probably the most obvious of Diane's desires represented in her dream is her wish for artistic success.
Well, I couldn't afford a place like this in a million years. Unless, of course, I'm discovered and become a movie star. Well, of course, I'd rather be known as a great actress than a movie star. But, you know, sometimes people end up being both, so that is, I guess you'd say, sort of why I came here.
She clearly states that she wants to be an actress, and her wish is fulfilled in her dream when she does a great job at her audition, and the casting agent likes her so much that she brings Betty to a screen test for a bigger movie.
He's got a project you will kill.
The director spots her during the screen test, and it's clear that he wants to cast her, or at least meet her. In her dream, the director is given an ultimatum to cast Camilla.
This is the girl.
Which implies that even though the director won't cast Betty, it's only because he doesn't have a choice.
This is the girl.
This is not only an example of Freud's wish fulfillment theory, but it also could be an example of the information processing theory, which states that we dream in order to process and organize the day's events, sometimes even solving problems that we've had during the day. In her dream, Diane is adding her own context to the screen test scene, solving the problem of not getting the role she wanted by adding extenuating circumstances to the casting process. Diane also makes Rita a bad actress in her dream when Rita's helping Betty prepare for her audition by reading lines, which is another example of Diane's desire to rise above the rest, but especially Camilla, in terms of acting. The fantasy and real-life scenes of Diane on set not only represent her professional wishes, but her personal ones too. In her dream, Betty catches the eye of the director, but in real life, the director is so focused on seducing Camilla that he barely even notices that Diane exists. This leads to another aspect of the latent content of Diane's dream, her desire to be needed. We see this represented in the manifest content of the on-set scenes, but really primarily through Rita's dependence on Betty. Rita doesn't know her name, she doesn't know where she came from, and she doesn't have a place to live. She depends on Betty for shelter and comfort, in more ways than one. She needs Betty in order to survive. When juxtaposed to the real-life scenes of Camilla brushing her off at the party, engaged to the director and kissing another woman, it's plain that what Diane wants is to be needed again, to be wanted. Quick interruption. At this party, we also see people who had been cast as different people in Diane's dream. This could be seen as a representation of the cognitive development theory, which states that we dream what we know. For example,
I don't believe you met my mother.
the director's mom in real life is cast as Diane's landlady or neighbor in her dream.
Just call me Coco. Everybody else does.
The woman Camilla kisses at the party is cast as Camilla, the mediocre actress who gets the part not through her talent, but through intimidation. Getting back to Diane's wish to be wanted, another part of the manifest content that could represent this latent desire is Rita's disguise. Betty disguises Rita to have a haircut similar to her own.
I know what you have to do. But let me do it.
This physical embodiment of Betty's Doris Day-ish looks could be symbolic of Diane's wish to be needed. Rita doesn't just throw on any old wig, it needs to be similar to Betty's. She needs to look like Betty in order to blend in with the rest of the world, in order to be safe. The last aspect of the latent content of Diane's dream that I'll discuss here is probably the most important. Diane's urge to undo Camilla's death, to rid herself of the guilt. The opening scene, after the dancing scene, is the first manifest content factor that indicates this latent content. Rita survives the assassination attempt and the car crash. Diane is rewriting history here in order to assuage her guilt. Again, we can look to the information processing theory because in a way, Diane is problem-solving Camilla's death and thus her own guilt. When Rita pulls out wads of cash from her purse in Diane's dream, the cash is representative of the cash that Diane used to pay the hitman for the murder of Camilla. Since Rita has the cash, it means that Diane never hired the hitman. Diane also imagines the hitman she hired as a very bad burglar.
Hey man, hey! And she's hurt real bad. Could you come here and call on the phone, please? I need you.
Another attempt at reversing her reality, where the hitman is in fact good at his job and kills Camilla. At the same cafe where Diane hired the hitman in real life, she dreams that a different man, another alter ego maybe, wants
To get rid of this god-awful feeling.
an admission that she wants to rid herself of the guilt of killing Camilla. Betty's caring for Rita is another part of her dream that represents her latent wish. Caring is the opposite of killing. Yet another part of the manifest content of Diane's dream which represents her wish to undo Camilla's death is the enigmatic blue key. Lancer and Ross put it best. Rita also produces an ornate blue key, with the implication that as long as this emblem remains in her possession, rather than where it was supposed to be at the time of Camilla's death, then the actress continues to live. There's so much to analyze in Mulholland Drive. I didn't even really talk about the Club Silencio, the cowboy, or the crazy old people, but in terms of representing various dream theories, Mulholland Drive hits it out of the park. When you watch it for the first time, you can tell that something is off in the way that the people are acting, how everything is playing out, and the random scenes with unknown characters. It really feels like a fever dream. And when using dream theory to analyze it, it's clear that the content and subliminal messages of the dream, compared to Diane's real life, mirrors that of actual dreams based on dream theory. By analyzing the manifest content of Diane's dream, the latent content of the dream, her wishes to have a successful career, to be wanted, and to reverse Camilla's death, is revealed. Aside from the wish fulfillment theory, Cognitive development theory and information processing theory can be found in the movie as well. I'm really just scratching the surface here, so if you want to read more about Mulholland Drive and dream theory, I would highly recommend checking out this paper by Lynch and Ross. As my favorite unhinged therapist said at the beginning of the video, our unconscious is more powerful than free will. There's so much we don't know about our unconscious or why we dream, but Mulholland Drive might take us one step closer to solving the puzzle. But that's all for now, so